Today Neil and I are out for a beautiful walk in my most favourite place to be. This is our local woods and I love it here. We're going to go foraging today and we're looking for sloes, which there are loads of here, and acorns and pinecones. Don't need lots of stuff today, just a few bits, and see what else we can find. Look at all those beautiful sloes. There are so many sloes around at this time of year. You can see them on the sides of the roads, on the blackthorn, or in the woods like we are today. Nature's larder at its best. When you're picking the sloes off the blackthorn, just be careful of the spikes. Very spiky, as the name suggests. So do be careful, but there's plenty of beautiful sloes to be had. So we're picking the sloes to make some sloe gin. They come off nice and easily. There's plenty of sloes to pick. Now there are a lot of people that do still say you should wait until the first frost before you pick the sloes. But it doesn't really apply now because the seasons have changed so much. That goes back many, many years. And what we do now is we pick the sloes, take them home and put them in the freezer. And they are perfect. So don't worry about waiting for the first frost. Just pick them. Pick them and enjoy them. Here's a little tip for you that I learned many, many years ago. When you're picking whatever it is you're foraging for and you're putting it in your bags, I like to put them in these grip seal bags. When you're moving on to a next spot to find more, do the ziplock up, because if you fall, like I have many, many times, you don't want to lose all your lovely berries. So just do your bag up. Try not to land. If you're going to fall, try not to land on your berries. You don't want to be landing on your berries. Now you can eat these sloes just as they are, but it's not something I tend to do because they are really bitter. But what they tend to do is take all the moisture out your mouth. So they're not pleasant to eat, but they are packed full of vitamin C. So they are so good for you. So just something to bear in mind. So when you're drinking your sloe gin, think of how good it's doing you with all that vitamin C. That's how I like to look at it. There are loads of pheasants and partridges in these woods. These ones, they look like little road runners. But there's loads of them in here. So this area across this side is where they've cleared some trees and planted new ones. So there's loads of new trees grown in there. Foraging for acorns. Plenty on the trees. It's so pretty. So this is really my happy place. I'm 58 now and I've been walking these woods since I was 8 years old, when we first moved into the area. And it's where I used to pick all the blackberries when my mum used to make her blackberry jam, blackberry and apple jam, all her wines. We used to pick all the rose hips. We used to get so much from this wood, and it really is just my happy place to be. There's so much you can find in a wood that you can eat, that you can use for decoration, and I just love being here. If ever you need to come and relax and clear your head, being outdoors is no better way to do it. You're getting exercise and you're getting fresh air and you're in nature. There's no better remedy to clear your head. It's just beautiful. It doesn't matter what the weather is, even if it's pouring down rain, it's just beautiful. You just get your big waterproof coat on and your wellies and you go for a walk. Just perfect. It's such a beautiful time of year. We have the beautiful sloes, beautiful purple colours, and the greens are still beautiful and vibrant. And then as we go across to the other side, you see the beautiful tall pine trees that are so straight and so tall. How beautiful. There's no better place to be. You don't need to pay for expensive spa days and restful retreats. You just come into the woods, get into nature. So beautiful. So these are all the blackberries that have finished. The blackberry season's just finished, but there's still plenty of things to forage for. So we did pick plenty of blackberries. There are tons of blackberries in these woods in the UK. We get a lot of blackberries if you know where to look for them. And like I say, these woods are where I've been picking blackberries for 50 years, because I'm really old. So dock leaves like this are everywhere. And this is what we use to put on if we got stung by a wasp. This is what we used to use. Pull a bit off, scrunch it up and rub it on the sting. One of the wonderful things about walking in these woods is all these beautiful pine cones. It's just like a shop. You don't have to pay for them. You just pick them up and put them in your bag and you're not going to get done for shoplifting. How beautiful are these? They're free. So let's have some of those in the bag. Ready to make some decorations. See all these pine needles that have dropped. They all feed back into the ground, add nutrients to the ground, and they help keep the weeds down. They are really good just to grab a bag or two and put in your compost heap at home. You're not going to spoil anything in the woods by taking a couple of bags of those, because there are so many. And the pine trees are still dropping their needles, so they'll soon get replaced. But there's just so much you can safely take from these woods without damaging the woods at all. When you are walking the woods, things you have to remember is there's no health and safety out here. Nobody's going to look after you So there's plenty of things that would like to trip you up and to give you a nasty poke with the thorns, and to hit you around the head as you walk through a bush. So always got to be aware of your surroundings. Here's the little newts in the logs. Newts love nothing better than an old rotten log. They're very timid little things. Completely harmless, of course. But as soon as you make a little bit of noise, they'll shoot off and hide in the log. See, there's another one poking its head out there. They really do disguise themselves very well because they're so hard to spot until they actually move. Their heads are very snake-like. You could actually, if you didn't see the little legs, you could think it was a little baby snake. Beautiful little newts. We only have two varieties of snake in this country, in the UK, and they are adders and grass snakes. Grass snakes are completely harmless. They might give you a little nip, but only if you stand on them. And adders are slightly venomous, but mostly harmless unless you've got any underlying health problems. But you very rarely see snakes. They're very timid. They'll hide under anything that will keep them warm. And the only time you'll ever get bitten by something like that is if you actually stand on them or you get way too close. They're more likely to just scoot out the way and hide than do you any harm. So there's no need to be scared of walking through the woods and coming across a snake. Completely harmless. They won't hurt you if you don't hurt them. So this is one of the beautiful trees that fell down in the winds a good while ago now. But it's a huge, great big pine tree. And I'm never really sad when these pine trees fall like this. There's always a reason why a particular tree falls in the wind. And this one will go on to feed the forest. It'll house lots of little creatures, the little newts that love to nest in the bark, all the insects. And as that rots down, it's going to feed all the plants around it as it puts new nutrients back into the ground. These are the hips of the hawthorns, and you can tell the difference between rose hips and hawthorn berries because of the shape of the leaf. The rose hips are off the rose, the common rose, and the rose has an oval shaped leaf with a point, and these are little tri leaves, very pretty. Also edible. We're not picking those today though. We have a lot of woods in the UK, loads of woods, and we're very lucky to live so close to so many beautiful woods. We've got different types of woods really. We've got some woods that are aimed at people walking and walking the dogs. So all the paths are nicely kept, recently gravelled, so people don't trip and fall. And then we've got these woods, which is my favourite woods. And they're just left, not for tourists or walkers, they're just left for the wildlife. So this is my favourite type of wood. This is what I used to call, when I was a child, my own little secret garden. Because I used to spend days and days just walking around these, just on my own, with my dogs. Usually had at least one dog with me, if not two. And I love the fact that these woods are just left. Obviously they have to do some maintenance in them, clearing trees. There is a reason they chop down trees. I know a lot of people, when they see people cutting down trees, they go, oh, it's terrible. Don't chop down those beautiful trees. But it has to be done. It has to be done. Because otherwise it gets too dense and the other trees can't thrive. So there's a certain percentage of trees that have to come out of the woods. And people do need to use a bit of common sense and not complain about everything. I'm a massive nature lover, and I can see the sense in cutting trees down. Has to be done. So if you see somebody in the woods cutting down trees, don't give them a hard time. They're doing what needs to be done to save the woods and to save the rest of the trees. So there's always a reason. Very rare people cut down trees that don't need it. There are times, obviously. There's been some beautiful trees cut down that's broke my heart. But in the woods, there's always a reason. Whether they're diseased and they don't want it spreading to the other trees, or whether it's clearing areas so the rest of the trees and plants can thrive. So this is my favourite type of wood. A natural wood. The beautiful bulrushes there. They're all finishing off now, but the bulrushes love the damp. So you see bulrushes growing in the ditches. So this is another fallen tree. As you can see, it's just rotted off, broken down. And will go back into the earth. But as nature is so wonderful, one tree fallen and another tree just starting its new life. Nature as a way of just keeping going. So I hope you enjoyed that walk with me around my favourite woods, and hopefully you'll join me next time. So please subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification, and we can enjoy more walks together.